Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a full face of Wet n Wild, save for my mouth, and I will explain to you what happened there when we get there. And I'm going to be telling you a little story, answering the question that I was asked about how I got into photography. I am going to be using all these new Wet n Wild things that you guys saw that I bought a little while back. Also, you guys like it when I tell you a story, so I was asked a question about my photography career, so I thought we'd talk about that a little bit today. Here's what that primer looks like when it comes out of the tube. So I'm going to be putting this everywhere except for underneath my eyes, because who wants to glow there? But as you can see, it's putting some luminosity to my skin. Anyway, I heard my mom tell somebody, they made some kind of a comment about, I'm not sure how this even came about, finding out different things that I've done. And my mom said, yeah, Mary has done a lot of different things in her life, and I have. Some people would say that is being a jack of all trades and a master of none, and I suppose you could be right. One of those things is being a photographer. In case you are new here, this is because I'm blind as a bat without my glasses. This particular concealer is the Photofocus, and it is in Ivory. I'm going to use it as a primer because I have a few items that I did not purchase because I know I own them and I can't find them. And that would be one of them is the Wet n Wild eye primer, which is a very good eye primer, but where is it? I don't know. I'm going to use it here and I'll use it under my eyes. It doesn't crease or anything. These days, guys, don't really like going underneath my eyes with concealer, then foundation, and especially when you're tired. If you have a lot of wrinkles under your eyes, possibly rethink that. This is Wet n Wild's 40th anniversary palette. It has 40 shades inside of just about any color you could possibly want. I have swatched everything in here more than once. I've used almost everything in here with a brush. I've only found one shade I don't care for, and I've put an X on it. That's personal preference. It is a topper. See, it is so very light. It's like a lilac-y topper that I personally don't have a use for. And I just wanted to remind myself, hey, you don't really care for this, so don't even use it. And I just put a big old X through it. As you can see, nothing else has an X. All right, well, I already did and took pictures of and showed you on Instagram a blue look or a green-blue look, using these colors over here. I already showed you using purples over here. Maybe I should go orange, even though with my hair, I don't normally go orange anymore, but it certainly can be done. Let's do that. Instead of going for this shade, which absolutely could be used to go all over, I'm gonna use my single of Creme Brulee. Okay, I'm just pushed down on that. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I'm not gonna waste it. I'm going to just bring it right over my eye. But I also want to show you the difference between this and the one that's in the palette. So I'm going to push down here. I don't know, none of these shades have names, but here's the buttery one that is in the palette. So this is in the palette and this is Creme Brulee. So my love for photography actually started in high school, but my mom and dad, you know, they don't got money to be sticking into photography, which was very expensive at the time. Sigma E35 right into this color right chair. My mom and dad, you know, I mean, they don't want to go spend all that money and stuff when all my life I have shown this tendency to get into something until I get bored, basically, and then I drop it and move on to something else. Next! I can't really say that I blame them for that, but that was when I first had an interest in photography. It was back when I was in high school. And I went on to do other things. As you know, I took secretarial classes and ended up working at Farm Bureau. My thing with photography was just something I kind of wished for but never did. And then my grandma passed away and she left some money. And it was enough money that if I was careful, if I was frugal, I could purchase a studio. Not the place, but the equipment that would go into it. But what kind of photography do I like? And what do I need? So what I did was, before I spent any money at all, I went to downtown to the big library. And I would go down there and I would grab all of the books about photography, how you did photography, the cameras, everything that you could possibly know. Everything in that library about photography I read. Because I couldn't afford to go to college. Having been out on my own now, I was working and I didn't have time to go to college to learn about photography. So I decided that I would read every book in the library and educate myself. And that is what I did. And I would just keep going and getting books and checking them out, making notes. I'm going to take the color right beside it and just kind of blend that up here a little bit and blend it out so it's not so stark. It looks orangey and I don't want it to look that orange right there. So I thought, what's going to be the best way to figure out what kind of photography I like? I'm going to use the Sigma E55 and I'm going to come up into this brighter orange up here. Anyway, I was still trying to figure out, maybe I would like portraiture. No, I did not. But to pay some of my expenses and afford more film and stuff, I took a job I've worked at JCPenney, I worked at Olan Mills, and a traveling studio at the time, which I mocked my own business after. Wow, this is bright. I left JCPenney for Olan Mills because at the time Olan Mills was like the prestigious place that you went to get portraits taken. But I kind of got shoved out from Olan Mills. And the reason was because they have a style that they use there, and that was not my style. My style was more casual. Basically, I was constantly getting in trouble for having an eye, being artistic, when it's not an artistic environment. Let's go with this one right here on the edge. It's a dark brown. I'm going to load up my brush, and we're going to come right in the crease. One day, this lady brings in her little girl. She's really cute. She's like maybe a year old. And she does not want to have her picture taken. And let me tell you, there is nothing worse, in my opinion, than doing little kid photography. I mean, maybe if you had like a little baby because they sleep a lot, maybe you're just doing a newborn portrait, that's okay. But once kids get to where they're having little temperament things going on with them, they don't want to be there, most of them, and it gets exhausting. Hats off to children photographers everywhere. So this little girl is sitting on a table. Her mother wants the shot to be of her in her frilly panties. In other words, she doesn't have on a shirt. She's got on her frilly socks. She's got on frilly panties, the ones with the ruffles in the butt. And when I was a little girl, I used to turn mine around so that everybody could see them. So like they were in the front, and then I'd pull up my dress so everyone could see my frillies. She had these frilly panties on and her frilly socks. And I'm sure today somebody would say that this was not appropriate. Who my age and older does not have a picture somewhere of themselves or someone in their family laying in a bathtub on their belly with their butt up? Everybody gets so dang offended about everything these days. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox here. The little girl is sitting on my white furry display on a box, and she has on these frilly panties. She has gold hair with all these curls. Just a cute little girl. And she has her back to me. She wants nothing to do with me. Now, Olan Mills protocol says that I have to do certain shots, and you have to do certain shots at certain times too, because they want you to buy the whole package. The shot the parent really wants is the third shot, because that's the shot that's the 11x14 in the package. The idea, of course, is to get the parents to buy the whole package. And I was always getting in trouble for following my gut. I'm using that same brown just down here on my lower lash line. Anyway, I go with my gut. Whatever the moment presents is what I do. And I do that same thing when I film. I don't have a script. That's where fritziness comes from. I just sit down here and ramble. So this little girl is sitting there and she's crying, right? She doesn't want anything to do with me. So she's like this, and she turns around. I close in tight crop to a 3/4 bust, and bam, I get her. One tear. A perfect real tear. I'm not talking about a sugar tear. Thick and stayed right here. Bam! I got it. I'm going to make my lash line darker by using a black shadow. Naturally, like I said, this is not a digital age, so I can't show the mother, but the mother was standing there. And she pretty much kind of knew she was going to love this shot. I take the rest of the shots, which, you know, like I said, I would get in trouble for because I wasn't taking family style pictures with everybody's got to have their hand just like this, stuck in a pocket. I'm more of a just let your thumb in a belt loop kind of girl. Let your fingers fall where they may. Natural looking. When the pictures come in, then they have a special person who goes in a room and they show you your proofs and they have on music to entice you to love the pictures even more. Well, this woman, the only thing she's interested in is that picture. That's what she wants. And I have to say, it was fantastic. It was a great shot of this little girl. Not your typical portrait at all. I'm going to come right into this color right here. And I'm just going to drag it right there. Mom loves this picture. She's going crazy for the picture. She wants the picture. She doesn't want anything else. She wants that picture. Don't you know Olin Mills would not sell her that picture? No matter what she said, they were not going to sell her this picture. And I got a scolding that actually caused me to walk out and quit my job on the spot. Dipping my finger into that same shade, I'm just going to kind of lightly come over the top right there and lighten it up in the middle of my eye. So she left that day with no picture. And I went to work for a studio that was more on my way of thinking. I learned a lot of things from that studio, from Olin Mills, from JCPenney, that helped me open my own studio. This is the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation in Nude Ivory. This is the foundation that everyone went gaga over when it first came out, and when I tried it then, it gave me an instant headache because of the smell. And I will say, this still has a smell, but I don't know, did they improve this? It doesn't give me an instant headache anymore, and it's not something I can't wear if I wanted to. Still got that paddle. I'm going to use that to put this all over my face. I don't love this foundation still, but it does give a good look in the beginning. You guys know from watching my favorites and fails that I do not like the Wet n Wild sponge, so I'm using the e.l.f. instead, having already thrown away the Wet n Wild sponge because it didn't make it through enough washings for me to still have it. I tore that up pretty quick. And a lot of you already know that I am very rough on sponges. Maybe you don't do the digging thing that I do. I think that if a sponge holds up under me, you'll be really happy with it. This foundation, to me, looks really good right after you first put it on. It's like it does a magic act or something. Where does it go? It disappears off my face through the day. I'm going to use this now. Under my eyes. I didn't go all the way up under there because I wanted to use this. It dries down. It doesn't need set with a powder, and it doesn't crease on me. Guys, I know that a lot of you are going to disagree with me on this, but it has to be said. This foundation and concealer, while it does look great while I'm putting it on, as soon as an hour afterwards, I look old. It doesn't play nice with me, and by the 4th hour, I hate my look so much that I'll actually go wash this off. They have just recently come out with a dewy version of this foundation, and I might give that a try once I see it in the store. Maybe I would like that better, but I really am not going to wear this again. But the only thing I'm hitting is right there where I'm dark. I'm not taking it down into my wrinkles. It's just not a pretty look, but it sets down pretty quick and it doesn't crease. This stuff over that makes me look like the crypt keeper. I'm actually not going to set this. This will last me about 4 hours before I have to remove it. Now I'm going to warm up my face. This is a very good bronzer. I really like it. It's Wet n Wild's Color Icon Bronzer, and this is in Sunset Striptease. So I'm dabbling in other areas of photography, trying to see where do I actually excel and fit. So I dabbled in a little bit of everything, and to help pay for the film and stuff that allowed me to do that, I was still doing all kinds of portrait photography and a little bit of weddings, which I hated, because if you mess up somebody's wedding, in an age where you're shooting on film, not digital, you need something to pay those bills. So I always had one foot in some kind of portraiture, and I started a business that went to people's houses, because I found when I was a photographer that the thing that was really hard to get done with portrait photographers and families was getting the dad to come to the photography studio. Mom's for it. She's got the kids, making them do it. I mean, the kids ain't got no choice. But dad, he's worked all day. He does not want to go to the photography studio when he gets home. So what if you had a studio that came to you? And that's what my studio did. We're going to move into this Wet n Wild On Edge Longwearing eye pencil crayon. Oh my gosh, guys. First of all, this, if you buy this, buy lots of them, because it is so creamy. You'll be sharpening it. Every time you use it, you'll be sharpening it, so it will not last you very long. Just barely go in. And don't do what you see me doing. Don't go in the tight line and the waterline. If you stay on your lid or underneath your eye, this stuff goes a long way and it will last. But in the waterline or the tight line, woo, it's just too much and it doesn't stay there. I mean, you just barely have to touch. It's that creamy. If you like to put eyeliner on your lids or whatever, and you don't want the kind that tugs, this one absolutely does not tug at all. Just dot. That's all you got to do. My little studio actually was doing even better after I got into boudoir. I have always loved this pencil from Wet n Wild. After my hair change, you know, the shade, it was a little hard to control for me. And I was really curious to know, do I like their micro pencil? I'm going to try not to use my Benefit 24-hour house setter, which is very hard for me, as you know. So what sparked all this was one day I got into this guy, okay, a debate, if you will, about his Sports Illustrated calendar that he had hanging in his garage. I was curious at the time, do men actually prefer looking at these women over their wives? I mean, some do, I'm sure. But after this guy's response, I took a survey of a lot of different guys in all walks of life. And what I found out was they're hanging that Sports Illustrated calendar because they don't have this of their wife. That they would actually take down the Sports Illustrated calendar if they had something comparable of the woman they loved. And I'm like, I can fill that gap, because I also found in the survey that I took that the reason that the men would not let their wives do it was because they didn't want a male photographer to take the pictures. I come to you and I'm a female. So this is how my boudoir thing got started, where I would come to your house and then I would allow you to take 12, because we're doing a calendar, 12 changes of clothes. And these can be anything that you want, so long as no privates are showing. And they were beautiful. Some of them were very risque, but classy and beautiful. And women were then able to give this to their husbands as a gift. That was one of my photography areas that I did. I dabbled a little bit in sports photography and learned that if you are an alcoholic, one of the best things you can do for yourself is get into sports photography, particularly on the race circuit, because I mean, they have pop machines that are full of beer that you can just go up and hit. And if you have a press badge, then it's free. All of these things that I was dabbling in was to try and decide, where do I fit? Where do I excel? What am I the best at? I'm going to switch to the other pencil now. And I'm just going to work on the tail and my arch a little bit with it. One of the things that I was dabbling in that I really liked was taking pictures of the food that I cooked. And I was trying to mimic the people who I saw in magazines, in books and stuff. And one day I asked myself the question, where do these pictures come from? That's what I want to do. And of course you have to have experience and gone to school and everything else to get on with an ad agency doing that. But not all of them are coming out of ad agencies. What I found out was there were things called stock agencies. And so I found out that there were these agencies where photographers would send pictures that they took of everyday things or things on spec. In other words, things that they thought in speculation that people may be interested in purchasing, particularly for covers of magazines and calendars and stuff like that, because not all places can afford. Oh, I didn't even tell you, this is the MAXFantasic mascara, which I think does a great job of making a fanned out lash. It does not give me the bulk that I want. It does provide a pretty good length, and it provides a fantastic fanned out natural looking lash. I learned all about stock photography, and I thought that is where I think I fit in. I gave up the boudoir, I gave up studio, and I solely stayed focused on stock photography. See, back in the 80s, all of this had to be shot on Kodachrome. Because they need to be able to blow it up to the size of a billboard or have it as small as something that would go, I don't know, in a picture book. Here, this blush, it's called the Color Icon Baked Blush. It's limited edition, and don't flutter yourself. It's got a little hummingbird on it. Isn't that cute? This is way, way, way too highlighty for me. No. I could put it on for you, and it probably would look good on camera, but it's blinding. I'm not going to ruin the look. We're just going to let the bronzer tell the story of my cheekbones today. I'm not going to be applying a blush because of that. And this highlighter, it's holographic, okay? It's got a snowflake on it. This is like a Jacqueline Hill moment here. This, it makes a very beautiful eyeshadow. By the way, you would have this the rest of your life if you use this as a highlighter. So I do love it on my eyelids as well as the blush, like I said, and I think I will because of the look I got going on. It's an orangey. I think I will take some of this pink frosty blush and pop it on my lid just for a little extra. Oh yes, this is just absolutely gorgeous on the lid as an eyeshadow. So I'm not going to throw it away because of that, but as a blush, it doesn't work for me at all. I do not like it. See, that just really bumped that eye look up. Oh, I like it. I like it. In fact, let's just get this brush and get some more of it. Anyway, so I got accepted to a stock agency, which you have to provide them contact sheets so that they can see. Send them slide examples so they can see how you shoot. And, you know, to this day, when I take a picture sometimes, because I want cover shots because covers pay more. Beauty of it is I still own it. I can resell it. Okay, so for when you're shooting for cover, you shoot off center so that your subject is off center, and that way you have room for the heading and writing along the side of a cover. It would always include a cover, vertical and horizontal shot of everything I did, but I do tend to shoot for cover to this day a lot. So I've done just about everything. My favorite ended up being stock photography in the area of food and some landscaping. I have been in textbooks, I've been in Hertz travel brochures, I've been in calendars, everything from a picture of a plate of spaghetti or lasagna to polar bears kissing at the zoo. When it came to lippies, I wanted these catsuits, and Wet n Wild had a thing going on. This is why I bought it all at Wet n Wild's website, and that's why I can't return some things I maybe would have returned. They had a deal going on at the time that I bought it that you could get a whole bunch, like I did from Lancome, all these little minis of the catsuits, which, like I said, I love. And I ordered them, and then they just like ran out, and so when they shipped it, they credited me back my money and said, sorry, we're out. So then I went to Walmart and I picked up one of these and a gloss. And when I got home, I discovered it had been opened. So I went back, all right, and I got this one. Look at this. Do you see it? It's hard to tell until you get home. You go to try to bust it and you notice, oh, it's already been in. So this beautiful color is what I wanted to wear today. I already know that this formula is good. This shade is called Berry Recognize. I love Rebel Rose. Like I said, I've had a few of these. I love them. The metallic ones, love them. So that's what I wanted to do on my mouth. But after returning twice because they have been opened, I don't want to buy them at the store anymore. Then I ended up getting this one. This is one of those lipsticks that they have that is really inexpensive. It's a drier formula, and I love this color, but it is a pinky color. And I'm gonna put it on here. It's more towards spring and summer for me, but I'm gonna put it on anyway. I like the formula of this lipstick. This is from Mel Thompson's collab with Kristen Audette, and I know that this lipstick is too bright for a lot of people. They say they don't want it because it's too bright and they can't pull it off. But I'm gonna show you how you can do this. Now I have taken concealer and tried to tone down the color of my mouth. My grandmother always put on lipstick like this. And now you can see that puffin does not look anywhere near scary as you think. Right? You can do this little corally mouth with it. And I think this complements the eyeshadow I'm wearing very well. Or you can get full on with it. Now that is a bit bolder than I want to go today, so I am going to take a Kleenex and blot some of it off. There we go. I hope you guys know that you are the best part of the Fritzy family. And if you're not having a blessed day, just go out and be a blessing to somebody else, just for the heck of it. Watch how that makes you feel inside. Until next time, love you, see ya, bye. And I'm out.
Here's what the primer looks like. I'm like, patty cake, baker's man. This is what this stuff looks like when it comes out of the tube. I don't know why, but whenever I want to say the word tube, I always go tube. I just dropped that. I just spilled that down the front of my shirt. Why can't I have a shirt that I don't spill things on? And also, it shocked my tongue. Look, see, it's shocked. It's shocked because I thought this was going to be calming Tazo tea, and it is orange blossom, so my tongue went, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 5 is what? What's 8 times 5?
8 times 5 is 40.
You know, we need to have a talk about this. We need to have a talk about how we don't think anymore. We just let Siri do it all for us. 40 makes sense, doesn't it? All sorts of colors. It says wet and wild here and wet. That does not say wet. This says wet and that says wild. Whenever you see a W like this, it means wet. And if you see a W like that, it means wild. She's a wild child. She's a real wild child. She's a... Downtown. Downtown, that's where the big library is. It's downtown on St. Clair Street. None of these words really match up. I mean, maybe if you have a little baby, because they can't run off, throw fits, and be a baby. So, get off me, get off me, get off me, get off me. In a day of Kodachrome, they give us the nice bright colors. They give us the greens of summer. Make you think all the world's a sunny day. Oh yeah, I got a Nikon camera. I want to take your photograph. So mama, don't take my Kodachrome away. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome. Mama, don't take my Kodachrome. Oh my gosh, I guess it gets snot.